Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to today's study of Srimad Bhagavatam class. And welcome, everybody.
And welcome on top of
and
that.
just welcome. How are you, Kastub?
I'm doing good this morning, Raghunath. Very happy to be here with you.
Yeah. What's going on in your life?
You know what's going on.
Same old.
Yeah, same stuff. Just
Same old is good.
Slugging through. Trying just, working on the book is kind of my top priority, although I can't say I give it more time than everything else, but I'm starting to get a little bit back in the groove, so I'm feeling good about that.
I can be your accountability if you like.
Oh, how would that work?
You text me. Okay, I've done 10 pages today. I've done 5 pages today.
All right, I'm down for
Got
that.
distracted today. If you need just to send a text message, accountability is good.
Would you like to read it and go a little back and forth, or is that like
That's too much accountability.
You just want to prod me.
Just chastise you and
yeah.
No. You get someone who can actually read well, edit well.
I would trust you, actually.
Like
I would like to run this stuff by you, actually.
Well, no.
I'm writing top 500 words a day or something like that. That's not much.
Yeah.
What's that?
We talk about that off the air.
Okay.
There's people out there that are more qualified than me, but
no, you're the guy, Raghunath.
And then I would need accountability for, did I read it today?
Right. I think that I might be when it comes to maybe I should record it and give it to you in a recorded form.
Yeah, got a lot of things I'm listening to lately, though.
Okay, I can't do that either. All right. Forget that.
Maybe
Mara's
up Moby Dick right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Mara, what's going on in your life?
Don't ask me to do anything. What's going on in your
life? Good morning. Raghu, you got to roll another Instagram reel on Rich Roll's podcast.
I got a second Instagram reel. Did you see that, Kastuba? A second Rich Roll. That is very positive for what we're doing.
But if we can have people share it and comment on it, then that would be even more powerful and it'd have more of an effect on it.
Okay.
To spread the teachings of Bhagavatam.
Yep.
And if you got Raghu's book on Amazon or wherever you purchased it, be sure to leave a review.
Makes a difference.
Makes a difference.
Thanks for everybody that did.
And we're back to recovery group meetings today at 1 and 9:30 p.m.
All right.
Okay.
Still spaces available for the Wisdom of the Sages retreat at Super Soul Farm and in Italy, but they're both filling up fast.
Yeah, that's true. They are.
Italy's getting real now.
It's getting real. Also, if you're one of those people that make plans in advance, not like me flying by the seat of my pants. Next year we're doing that. We're doing 300-hour. This is on my website. 300-hour in India yoga training. We're also doing a 200-hour training. Lori Pag's going to be there doing the 200-hour. It's me, Bobby, Cindy. And then also we have the Kirtan Academy going on, and we have a second academy that's studying Mridanga.
So if you ever wanted to learn Mridanga appropriately with all the mantras, we're doing that the first 2 weeks. Kirtan Academy with Harmonium is the second 2 weeks. And then the Wisdom of Sages retreat happens also the last 2 weeks. And right after the Flower
Light on
Festival,
Wisdom,
we
right.
do our Mayapur retreat for a week. And that we just, we did like a test run this year, and it was very nice, a very nice retreat in Mayapur. And if you ever wanted to get away, and it's one of those retreats where you can just, it's not such a huge financial commitment or time commitment because it's only a week. And it's very, very special, especially if you're already into Bhakti. If you've opted in, like, this is for me, then Mayapur makes so much sense, and you'll have, it's a very special experience.
All right.
Yeah. That is all.
Okay. Ready for the nugget?
Yes, sir.
Who's it from?
This is from Rudyard Kipling.
Do you know who Rudyard Kipling is?
Yeah, Rudyard Kipling wrote, not Animal Farm. The Jungle
It's got
Book.
animals, though.
It's got a jungle in it.
The Jungle Book duology. Joseph Rudyard Kipling was an English novelist, short story writer, poet, and journalist. He was born in
India, right?
British India. He was actually born in Mumbai in 1865.
I would have loved to be in
Bombay.
Mumbai in 1865.
I was thinking that, wouldn't it be fascinating?
Yeah, it was jungles. It was beautiful jungles. It's got that old Shiva temple there.
Bubble Knot Temple.
It was a Portuguese port. It was, yeah.
I would love to have been able to see that. So anyway, yeah, that's where he was born, which is interesting. And when I hear this nugget, it makes me think this is a person that was likely in India. Like, it sounds like someone that was in India.
Yeah.
Imagine the people that you would meet in Mumbai in 1865, and my guess is you could meet the kind of person that he's talking about in this quote.
Yeah, it must have been a special time.
Special time.
Special time.
America was just wrapping up its Civil War, and he was born there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so here's his, and this is, beware of over concern for money or position or glory, right? These are the things that people hunt out. They search for. How can I become a little bit more glorious, more powerful, more validated, more loved by the masses? How can I become a little more wealthy? How can I find my edge upon somebody else, my privilege upon somebody else? Someday you will meet a man who cares for none of these
things.
Then you will know how poor you are. Super powerful, right? And you could imagine, the British were in India and, exploiting it for its resources and dominating. A few come in and dominate the many. And that's what they were looking for, these things: money, position, glory. And then you stumble into a sage who has none of those things. This is a different type of privilege. This is a privilege you have to opt in for and turn off your senses and turn your mind towards spirit. And then you have the highest type of one-upsmanship on anyone. You're completely detached. You can't be purchased. You can't be hurt. You can't be triggered. You can't be
you covered it.
Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good. You're unmoved. It's pretty amazing.
It's he was, if you were living in a place like Bombay of the 1860s or 70s or 80s, growing up in that, certainly you're going to be plenty of people that were deeply, deeply immersed. The wandering sadhus, what to speak of other deep, spiritualists, people practicing, real practitioners, without so much of the distraction that we have nowadays. And, I really feel what he's saying. It's like, I mean, in one sense, okay, anybody that's talking a little bit about spirituality is going to say, okay, money is not what's going to bring you happiness, and so on. Okay, fair enough. But the way that he conveys it, I feel like there's some realization, some genuine deep appreciation, because it's what he's picking up on is that these people had a treasure, right? And when you meet that person that has that treasure and you don't have it, or you could phrase it this way: what it makes one feel, what is it that I'm missing that's creating some emptiness in me, that's driving me to seek fulfillment through these externals? Because it's, it seems to me like these are the things that bring happiness. This person does not have them, but has something more. There's of course that story of Sanatana Goswami where he's got this mystical touchstone, right? And
You get whatever you want if you touch it.
yeah, and so someone hears about that and goes to him, and he's just sitting there. What's his treasure? He's chanting.
He seems peaceful. He seems
Mahamantra.
happy. He seems joyful.
Yeah, blissful.
Give me your.
You got that stone?
Yeah, what is it? The stone's giving you stuff? He's like, oh, you want the stone? Take the stone.
Where is it?
Then once he gave him the stone,
where was the stone?
It was in the refuse pile.
And he just had it lying around in the
Yeah,
junk
take
pile.
it. Go take it. This is yeah.
Then he had it. Then it was working. He was getting his external desires fulfilled by the mystical power of this stone.
And then he realized, but there's something. If it was in the refuse pile, what does he have more than this?
He's got to have something more. If he gave that up so easily.
So he set him up. Sanatana Goswami says, I'll give you something more valuable, but you got to throw away the stone.
Oh,
Taking that stone. It's like, right?
That's where the test comes. Right?
You want your new Toro lawnmower? You can trade it in for what's behind curtain number 1, and that's what he did.
It doesn't cost any money, but there's a price to pay.
You have to. The price was you have to throw the stone into the river.
Yeah,
and then you got it, and you get the prize, and it's the holy name.
What? Where's I dive back into the river?
You remember that? Let's make a deal when they.
I don't want to remember.
They offer you a lawnmower, and you're like, "Should I take the lawnmower or
right.
what's behind curtain number 1?" And it's
but that was just like a blind gambling kind of thing, right? That was just like, I don't know if it's going to be something better behind that curtain or not.
Here is a person, and this is what it must have been like. I'm romanticizing Mumbai, but there's not a few. There's lots of these mendicants and ashrams, and they appear like self-satisfied, detached, cultured, refined. Now, it's not the British culture. It's not a Christian culture per se, but they're refined, they're knowledgeable, and it's attractive. And anyone who's just not boldly into wealth and power, etc., they start to think, what do they have? And we live in this world where I can look around on the Zoom screen and saying, oh, look what's in her house, and look what's in Kaustubha's house, and how can I purchase that? That looks cool. And I want these things to sort of like decorate my ego, to be sort of like a necklace I wear around me. Check out the stuff I have, thinking that will give me something. And when you meet a person who has nothing, but they're actually joyous, they're actually connected, it's so attractive. And you think, man, I've done so much to build up. How poor am I? Yeah. How poor am I? Right?
Yeah.
I've done so much to establish myself at the center stage. And some people have they're really refined things. And it's a new way to measure success, a new way to measure, because this is a privilege that you can't purchase. You can't inherit it. No one can give it to you. You have to totally decide, I want this for myself, and I'm going to do what it takes to get it. And what it takes, and the qualification to purchase it is humility. I can purchase, you have a beautiful piece of furniture, and I think that will look great at my house. I can purchase that. You have a nice outfit on. I'll purchase that. You got a cool watch. I'll purchase that. You got a great car. I can purchase that. I can purchase all these things, but I can't purchase that type of connection that the sadhu has. I can only purchase it through devotion of my heart.
Mm.
And that's very powerful. And that's what's offered to us through the Bhagavatam. You can have it, but you got to give your heart to it. It's nothing you can just
And that means you
swipe
can't
a
give your
credit
heart
card and get.
and really you have to give your heart to it exclusively, right? And exclusively doesn't mean that no one else falls within the realm of your affection, but your affection to others goes through your exclusive devotion. Right.
Another interesting, all the other things that we consider privileges, a person might be very wealthy. A person might have come from a very wealthy family. A person might be incredibly knowledgeable or an academic. And they can say, well, I'll academically apply myself to Krishna consciousness. Great. That's still not it. You can't purchase it with all these material privileges that some people are born into, or some people earn by some other work or going to school. You can only purchase it through devotion of the heart.
That's exactly what I was writing about this morning, Raghunath.
Really? I'm thinking like
Exactly.
Kastuba?
You want to hear it?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. This will be my reading of Kastuba today.
Okay, and that's exactly because what I was writing about that there's this exclusive, or you could say confidential aspect of Vedanta, right?
Okay.
That there's a higher qualification to understand. The knowledge of conventional Vedanta has been widely elaborated on through the writings of the yoga tradition, along with the attributes that qualify one to assimilate its teachings and realize its message. So there's practices like renunciation, detachment are extolled as corrective measures to counteract the... I'll move on because this is get to your point. I speak about this confidential Vedanta, this message of pure bhakti, which is unique within it all. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of confidential Vedanta using terms like Guyata Mam Shastram, the most confidential part of the sacred text, Raja Guyam, the greatest of all secrets. These secret teachings are not locked away in a guarded library or buried in a crypt. They flow like a river. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong part.
I like it anyway.
Okay. Well, no, I want to get to the part that talked about the purity of the heart, because that's exactly what you were just talking about. Oh, yeah. Practices like renunciation and detachment are extolled as corrective measures to counteract the attachments that cloud the objectivity needed to perceive truth. Attachments, fear, or resentment may trigger resistance when the implications of truth rub up against one's desires or predispositions. One's capacity for reason may be diverted from the direct pursuit of truth and engaged in defending the validity of one's attachments. Other attributes like simplicity, austerity, obedience to the qualified teacher are recommended for the seeker. But there's a further qualification to understand confidential Vedanta, and it has nothing to do with self-discipline, scholarship, or power of intellect, and everything to do with the state of one's heart. Right? That's the point. Is that the point that you're making?
Sure.
Right? That even within the realm of Vedanta, even within the realm of yoga, the power of your renunciation, the power of your austerity, the power of your intellect are all useful tools in advancing in one's path. But when it comes to this divine love, which is the greatest treasure, that's the treasure, that's the real treasure that completely burns right down to the root, the desires for money or position or glory. That's only there, that's through devotion. And that devotion is so powerful that they say, the sages, they describe it in different ways. They say it's like drowning in an ocean of bliss. They say it's like diving and surfacing, like in a river, a constant flow. That and even physically, they feel it like waves of ecstasy, through their bodies. That when you're feeling that, money and position and glory become incredibly pale. They have no allure whatsoever. That's the person that has the wealth, right? That's the person that has something very special, some very special treasure that makes these other things so pale in comparison. And I would imagine that Rudyard Kipling, he probably bumped into some of these people, maybe at the Bubblenath Temple.
Maybe the bubble nath had some appreciation for what they were doing up at the bubble nath. There's that verse first describing Krishna, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. He has unlimited forms. He's inconceivable. He's one without a second.
Mhm.
And Vedeshu Durlabham. And so how do you understand this inconceivable person? It's very, very difficult.
Not through
not
study
through
of Veda.
the study of Veda. You can't find him, but it's Adurlabham. It's very easily, you can very easily find him through Atma Bhakta, through devotion of the soul. And so this is everything. This is the only thing you need. And you know what it costs? Nothing. It costs no money. It doesn't call no pice. It doesn't cost any sterling, any gold. What it costs is devotion of the heart. And then with devotion of the heart, you can have everything. Isn't it amazing? That's the only qualification you have. There's no amount of schooling or education. You can't even, it seems like, well, I'll just study the Vedas. I'll know Krishna. No way. There's a lot of people who study the Vedas and are so far away from Krishna because it's led by their ego. But when you give your heart, then all of a sudden everything sort of unfolds. And when these people, when you see someone who has that, it's quite impressive. And I think this is perhaps why all of us are here, is because we've met a person or heard about people that have some higher vibe with none of the things that people of this world are chasing. They have some higher vibe. And we're attracted to that.
Yeah, that spiritual life, to walk the path, what it is a steady engagement in accepting something and releasing something. Releasing something and then accepting something. Cutting something out, bringing something new in. You move up a step. Then you realize, you know what, there's still stuff in my mind, still stuff in my heart that needs to be removed, or still certain habits that I have, certain ways that I waste my time. Cut that out, embrace the next level. Then you get there, then you begin to then there should be a healthy kind of drive to come to the next stage, a certain lacking, a certain emptiness, a certain or a certain inspiration that makes one say, you know what, I need to cut this out and embrace the next thing. You go to your next step, and it's just a ladder that one's like climbing like that, step by step. And the more accustomed that we get to cutting out, the more confidence that we develop. When I cut that out, I will not be the loser, right? I will actually gain. That's called faith, that I can take the touchstone and throw it into the river because I have the faith that there's something more valuable that's right there that I can grip, I can embrace, and pull into my life.
Yeah, it makes no material sense. It makes tons of spiritual sense.
Nityananda Chandra is asking on the chat, who is this Bubble Nath? It's not Bubble.
It's not Bubble. Babul Nath.
Babul Nath.
It's the name of Lord Shiva.
Babul
I think
Nath.
Babul is a type of tree.
Yeah.
Lord Shiva sits under.
Lord Shiva.
He's the lord of that tree. And it's one of the oldest temples in Mumbai. And it's a Shiva temple built on this hill, which is now a very expensive neighborhood. It's where the Hanging Gardens are. It's near Chowpatty Beach. And whenever we go to Chowpatty, we like to visit that temple there too.
Yeah, it's got a nice vibe up there, right?
It's got a charm to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, old charm.
Yeah.
It's all marble, and you can just tell, even like marble, you can see how old it is, right? Just like even the marble is like worn down.
But I just always imagine a bunch of sadhus living on a hill, worshiping a deity too, before any of it was built.
Well, up high on that, like on the ledge, what like on the roof, on all the different corners and along the edges of the roof, it has those carvings of different sadhus, chanting japa, meditating in different ways, doing pranayama. It's cool.
Would have been cool.
All right.
Maybe that was our life, previous lives, Kostuba.
Think we're sitting there on the hill.
Either that, or you're some type of farm animal.
Good.
Either some sage or a farm animal in a previous life. I'm not quite sure.
All right.
All right. Continuing on, my friend. Let's get into Srimad Bhagavatam. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very source, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesh vabhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyanat Tamarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 46.
Sri Prahlad continues.
We're getting instructed by a 5-year-old.
Oh, but we never finished 45, I think. I think you read like one sentence of it, and that was it.
We drifted. All right, let's take this. All this paraphernalia is very, very dear as long as the body exists, right? All this stuff that we have, that's the paraphernalia. But as soon as the body is destroyed, all things related to the body are also finished.
Okay.
Right? You can get rid of it. You can haul it off to Goodwill. All your valuable stuff. You got boxes and boxes of children's finger paintings and photo albums. Some of your kids take them. It's all discard. Old clothes no one wants.
Got to cut some stuff out and accept some new stuff, right?
Furniture that you thought was really valuable, or precious lamp that I have.
Things that you bought that you never used, so used just a few times.
It's just junk.
Never
We're
needed
just
it.
Junk collectors, aren't we?
I mean, this is talking about more than just the material, John. It's talking about even relationships. It's talking about
even relation. Well, someone put up on the board that, I don't know if it was Prabhupada quoted this or Prabhupada quoted it from something else, but he was quoting when he was crossing the ocean coming to America. In your old age, what do we have left? Or we're sitting on our deathbed. What do we have left? All the people that we've ever met, it just comes down to a long list of names.
Prabhupada wrote that.
Yeah. Did Prabhupada write that, or did he take it from somewhere else? Be interesting.
Because we read it on the show once.
Yeah,
maybe someone can Google that for it. Give us a link and we can read it.
It's such a powerful statement. And if you look back, if today was our last day, we're on our deathbed, it's like, who are all these people that have been in my life? Even my own family members, who are, it's just everybody I've ever met. And we've had a lot of intimate, friendly, romantic relationships, familial relationships for years since we were kids. Where are they now? It's just like a long list of names. Ooh.
Therefore,
Actually, one has nothing to do with them.
No, one has actually nothing to do with them. But because of ignorance, one accepts them as valuable.
That's the treasure.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mara. You're not that valuable. I didn't say the Bhagavatam did.
Bhagavatam said that about you.
What is it?
You got to talk.
Bhagavatam said that about Raghu.
You too.
Therefore, actually, one has nothing to do
Actually,
with them.
Bhagavatam will glorify the value of the devotees association. Mm-hmm.
Because what the devotees is they're taking you out of the illusion. That's why there's actually some value there.
And you're spreading the message of Bhagavatam, so you're quite valuable.
You're kind.
Mara's mic needs a little. Turn that up.
Well, she doesn't talk loud, and she doesn't talk into the mic because she's. When you talk, you got to talk right in that mic, Mara. You can't just sit there and knit and then expect for people to know what you're saying. Okay, compared to an ocean.
Now, this is important.
Compared to the ocean of eternal happiness, all these things are so insignificant. What is the use of such insignificant relationships for the eternal living being?
Okay.
This is the potency of Bhakti Yoga, because we're creating relationships that have an eternal value. There's people that have come into my life that have given me some type of eternal, even if I never meet them again, they've touched me in such a way that they've given me there was an eternally valuable conversation, friendship, relationship. They've given me some eternal value, and you never forget them. Huh? You never forget what they've given to you.
You know, these metaphors, ocean of eternal happiness, right?
Ocean's pretty big.
Well, yeah, that, you know, the Sanskrit is Nityananda Rasa Udade, an ocean of rasa that is rasa meaning some nectar, some
Sweetness,
delicious sweet taste. That's Nityananda. It's a taste of bliss that is never ending, eternal ocean of bliss. When we go to the ocean, when we look at it, if we're in a bit of a, just even a little bit of a contemplative mood, it's the vastness of it that's impresses us, right? How many drops, you know, how many gallons? You can't calculate. It's so vast. It's practically unending. We could swim and swim and swim and never get to the end of it. And, you know, someone like Prahlad is trying to help us understand with a metaphor like this, that the things that you are searching for in this world to try to find your happiness, they're really insignificant. They're really like, there is an ocean. Try to understand this. Try to develop, explore this idea, explore these teachings, experiment with them, and see if this faith will rise in you, you know, especially through connecting with other people that have that faith, that are experiencing something more, that there is a treasure there that's so vast that everything else that you're seeing as treasure in this life becomes insignificant. You know what's the great blessing in life, Raghunath? Is when those insignificant things, when you're no longer just telling yourself that, but you actually feel it. You know, like, I get it. There's no taste there. There's no nectar there. The things that the doom scrolling that I've been doing, why am I still doing it? There's no nectar here. And then you stop. You know, like that's where, again, you cut something out, you embrace something new. You got to fill that with something else. That you fill that with the Bhagavatam, you fill that with the holy name, you fill that with association with the sadhus, and you bring yourself to the next level in your spiritual life.
Now, if we are going through a period of life where things are looking really up, things are looking really good, money's flowing in, people love you, you've got material facility.
Yeah.
We got to think deeply. We got to think really deeply, because it seems like, well, the material world's pretty darn good. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm leaning into these things. I'm leaning into, I can buy whatever I want, I can go wherever I want. There's great beaches. I got lots of frequent flyer miles. I can go wherever. We have to really become philosophical, because there will be a time, perhaps in this lifetime, where we've got nothing. And unless we find some joy, peace, connection separate from those things, we're going to ruin this opportunity. Now, if you're going through a tough time right now, and some people are going through a tough time, money's not flowing. You know, we can't get what we want. We can't do what we want. We're in a tough place. Can I create a bubble of peace, a bubble of joy, a bubble of connection with no material opulence, and see how that works? And that's going to be interesting. Matter of fact, when you start getting stuff, which happens, life switches on a dime sometimes. Can you find that peace and keep that peace and peace of mind, and not live in anxiety and fear and worry, like, how am I going to get fed, and just move forward one day at a time until you get to this next phase of life where you get everything? Can you still keep that bubble of peace when surrounded by stuff? It's really interesting, because whether we are economically, financially fulfilled or financially destitute, there's different challenges we have to face, because having and not having have nothing to do with the real treasure here. What do you think about that, Kastuba?
You got to make that bubble.
The bubble.
And then you become
Bubblenath.
Thank you.
Lord of the bubble.
All right. Text 46.
My dear friends. My dear friends, O son of Asuras. Asura is a demonic being. and these kids are all
Honesty.
children of demons. The living entity receives different types of bodies according to his previous fruitive activity. Isn't that interesting? You look the way you do, Kostuba. Like I'm looking at you right now. See you.
What did I do?
You look the way you did something. You did something to get that body. Isn't that interesting way to think? Even if you don't believe it, it's interesting to think like that. You're born in a particular family. You got a father that you had, a mother that you had, a sister like you have. Why? Because you've done something to get it. You have some desires that led you there.
Okay.
You're born in a particular place. You have different.
So embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace it by meaning
So you
like
embrace it, like
own it. Like don't fight it. Don't say why me or whatever. Just own it.
Fair.
This is my responsibility. This is I got it myself. I own it in that sense, right? I'm responsible.
We get lost even within, Western therapy. We get lost, or even in the East, people look at their astrological chart. Why did this happen to me? Why did this family happen to me? Guess what? You got what you got. We got what we got. Let's move forward.
Sometimes I look at animals and think of the human qualities that one lived that
get that body
that brought them to that animal body. Some of them I think are humorous. Some of them are like really profound or really have awakening potential. You look at some of these creatures.
I think sometimes if I don't get serious about my life, I'm going to take birth as some type of goat in my next life. Ever hang out with goats? Goats will just they're just blind and just are eating everything, just chomping and beating. I just put stuff in my mouth. I'm going through the cupboards, just pulling stuff out, trying to satisfy my god hole, just like a goat, just trying to nibble, chew. They'll eat everything. They'll eat, saplings, anything growing, just munch it.
What is it? There's nothing. There's a Bengali saying, I think. There's nothing that a goat won't eat.
Yeah.
And nothing that a fool won't say.
Goats eat it all.
What about the kangaroo?
Yeah, those are like Olympic jumpers.
They're powerful beasts.
Yeah, they fight too.
They're somehow they're charming, but they're terrifying. They can be terrifying at the same time.
Sure. Remember the story
You
about
had a connection with the kangaroo. That was the first thing I was thinking.
Remember that?
Oh yeah, the kangaroo.
Me doing naked yoga with a kangaroo every day.
Yeah. Oh, you must have felt very vulnerable.
But well, you know what? I think we connected.
We had a connection.
It was a big kangaroo. I was doing yoga every morning in the jungle in Australia, and a kangaroo used to come and sit and watch me. Just watch.
I saw. We're squirreling off a bit now.
Okay.
But I saw a video the other day. This speaks to the consciousness, the awareness, the equality of the soul within the different bodies. There was a video of some guy, like how people have the sliding glass doors in their house.
Yeah.
So he had a sliding glass door, and a kangaroo came up to it, big kangaroo, standing up straight.
Yeah.
And it took its claw. That claw was like the nastiest thing I've ever seen. I mean, that thing was like a serious weapon.
Yeah.
And
I'm more of a wallaby man myself.
Okay, but it was clawing up against the window like repeatedly.
Really?
And he felt like it's asking me, like it's calling me.
Help.
Yeah, it wasn't saying like I hate you, I'm killing. It was like help me. So he went out and he followed the kangaroo, and he found that there were some other kangaroos there, and there was like a gully, and the little Joey,
good, Kostuba. A Joey.
a little Joey,
very good.
Baby kangaroo was slid into that gully and was stuck, and they had no way to get it out. And so then the human, he grabbed the Joey by the arms, and he was pulling and pulling. It was hard to get it out, and he pulled and pulled, and he finally got the thing out. And the kangaroos were so grateful that they followed him home.
They gave him a gift or something?
They just kind of came there and saw him every day and spent time with him every day. They really recognized we came to you for help. We knew that we couldn't do this ourselves. They got together and said, we need a human. right?
We need a human for this. We're gonna need a human.
So they
We're gonna
went to a human's house and they started knocking on the thing, and they brought the human there. But that's a soul inside that kangaroo that had that intelligence, that had that humility, that had that appreciation and gratitude, right? It's all
just didn't
there.
have the reach with their arms. He just doesn't have that long
Or
reach.
didn't have the thumb or something like that to be
Oh,
able to grip
tractable
something. It
digits.
wasn't it.
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So Prahlad is saying, what was he saying again?
Something about
Oh yeah, we
kangaroos.
take this
Prahlad was
body.
like
We take a
okay.
body according to how we've lived, right? We're thinking, let me get the same things that Rudyard was speaking about. Let me get the money, the position, the glory through my fruitive activities. I do something, I get the result. Let me work for them. But we're getting other results too that are determining the next body that we take.
Okay.
Thus, he is seen to suffer.
Thus, he is seen to suffer with reference to his particular body in all conditions of life, beginning with his infusion into the womb. Please
That's where
tell
it
me,
starts,
therefore.
right?
Please tell me, therefore, after full consideration, what is the living entity's actual interest in fruitive activities, which result in hardship and misery?
He's he's speaking to an elite group too, right? Like the sons of the high level asuras.
Right.
Because he's like the kings, the emperors, like the universal emperor's son. He's not going to school, he's not in public school.
Yeah, this isn't public school. There's a high private school and they're elite. They're sophisticated families. They're just hate the authority of
God.
Lord Vishnu. They just hate God.
Okay. So they all, are being really trained up in the like, go for it. Go into fruitive activity full on, achieve your materialistic goals, find happiness through this type of materialistic achievement. He's countering that. Text 47.
Okay. Text 47. The living entity, that's us, who has received his present body because of his past fruitive activity, may end the results of his actions in this life. But this does not mean that he is liberated from bondage to material bodies. The living entity receives one type of body, and by performing actions with that body, he creates another. This is what we're doing. Every time we have
That's right.
act upon a desire, we're creating a consciousness for another body. The living entity receives one type of body, and by performing actions with the body, he creates another. I'm sorry. Thus, he transmigrates from one body to another through repeated birth and death. This is the mysteries of life right here, because of his gross ignorance.
So he's saying that in this life, you're burning off your previous karma. So it seems like, okay, I'm becoming free. No, you're not liberated, because as you're burning off your past karma, you're creating your future karma.
You're creating new karma.
So it's kind of like a caterpillar. You're going from one leaf to the next.
It's like I got off that leaf. Yeah, I know you got
now you're on the next
another leaf.
Yeah, right. Now, by the way, little Karuna has sent us the poem from Prabhupada
Oh, thanks, Karuna.
you were talking about.
So this is the poem. Should we read it?
Yeah, I got it.
It's such
I'll read the stanza that it comes from.
Let's read the whole darn poem. It's such a beautiful poem. You got to picture yourself. You're on a boat, on a ship, a cargo ship.
Yeah.
I've never been on a cargo ship. I've never been on a ship, I don't think.
All I have is the opening stanza. You were, Raghunath. You thought you were going to sink when you
I
were
was on a
crossing.
ferry. That's right. I guess that's a ship. Those are dangerous.
So these are the opening stanzas from the Bengali poem Vrindavan Bhajan, written by Srila Prabhupada.
You're reading the whole thing or just this stanza?
I have 4 stanzas.
All right, we'll take it.
This is Prabhupada towards the end of his life, the last stage of his life, kind of. Or you could say second to last stage if you want to consider.
Stage, not the last days, not the last
Stage, yeah.
the last stage, meaning his retirement and coming to America with nothing.
So he says, I'm sitting alone in Vrindavan. In this mood, I'm getting many realizations. I have my wife, sons, daughters, grandsons, everything, but I have no money. So they are fruitless glory. Krishna has shown me the naked form of material nature. By his strength, it has all become tasteless to me today. We're just talking about that, right?
Mm.
When you lose taste for what you... Yasyaham anugrinami harisye taddanam shanai. This is a quote from Bhagavatam. Krishna saying, I gradually take away all the wealth of those upon whom I am merciful. How was I able to understand this mercy of the all-merciful? Everyone has abandoned me, seeing me as penniless. Wife, relatives, friends, brothers, everyone. This is misery, but it gives me a laugh. I sit here alone and laugh. In this Maya samsara, in this cycle of illusion, whom do I really love? Where have my loving father and mother gone now? And where are my elders, who are my own folk? Who will give me news of them? Tell me who. All that is left of this family life is a list of names. As the froth on the seawater mixes again in the sea, Maya samsara's play is just like that. No one is mother or father or personal relative. Just like the sea foam, they remain but of short time. Just as the froth on seawater mixes again in the sea, the body made of 5 elements meets with destruction. How many bodies does the embodied soul take in this way? His relatives are all related merely to the temporal body. But everyone is your relative brother on the spiritual platform. This relationship is not tinged with the smell of Maya. The Supreme Lord is the soul of everyone. In relation to him, everyone in the universe is the same. All your relatives, brothers, all the billions of jivas, when seen in relation to Krishna, they are all in harmony. Forgetting Krishna, the jiva desires sense gratification, and as a result, he is firmly grasped by Maya.
Poetic, deep,
Oh, yeah.
relevant in my own life. List of names. So many people I've had intimate friendships with and contacts, and musicians I've played with, toured with. You ever tour with a person? It's like you become their intimate friend. I'm traveling together in tight circumstances, lived in ashrams with. And then all of a sudden, it's like that same body that I've treasured, that I've worked out, that I've gone to the gym, that I've gone to saunas, whatever. Now that body is melting into the ground, just like the foam melts into the ocean.
Disappears.
Powerful stuff.
And you know what it's a beautiful example of? Is that ability of the wise person, of the sage, to take that bitter medicine that comes in life, the reversals, the
glue traps.
Yeah, the unpleasantness of life. And rather than necessarily work hard to counter it or to feel some sentimental, wallow in sentimental self-pity or wallow in resentment or other, similar reactions, he's embraced it as in one sense, the bitter sweet medicine, because this feeling of isolation from the material, quote unquote, love,
right,
is opening up the heart for the possibility of the spiritual love. And it's kind of like you have to let go of one to embrace the other. And he's quoting this verse from Bhagavatam where Krishna says, you know what I do to those that are really turning to me? You know what mercy I give, what special favor I show to those who become very dear to me by their sincere desire to know me. I just take it all away. I don't, he doesn't say I give them all of this and that. He said, I take all this stuff away until they're all alone, right? And sitting there without anything, all alone. And then they have nothing but me.
Mm.
Right.
It's that beautiful destitution.
Yeah.
Whereas in the material world, destitution is like the worst thing you could have, to be
Mhm.
destitute.
Yeah.
But the real yoga is found in the Bhagavatam when there's this king or queen, or when they have nothing else to turn to, nothing else to lean into, no other comfort. It seems like the material world is turned against them. And then you just have Krishna. You just reach up your hands, oh God. That is like the high Draupadi calling out. That's the highest connection you get, right? Oh,
Yeah.
my Lord.
Help.
Ambarish in
Got
folded
no one but you.
hands, you know? Oh,
Yeah,
my Lord.
I have no one but you. Yeah.
Mm.
And then through that, you connect with everyone, but you have to come there, right?
Right.
You have to come through that gate.
If we're leaning into our wealth or our power or our glory, just like Rudyard Kipling was saying, expect that if you're sincere, you might get things just shifted and taken away so you can really reach to Krishna.
And then
If
you
you're
embrace that, right?
right, if you're leaning into glory, if you're leaning into wealth, if you expect that, if you're sincere, and that's why sometimes when people go through reversal and they come to me, I'm suffering through this. Part of me thinks they're making a lot of advancement. They have this opportunity now to go real deep, real.
You-
It's just like, I was just talking to someone about astrology yesterday, and they were saying that, sometimes they just won't, astrologers will just be like, you're about to lose everything, right?
What?
And it's they're like, what? But sometimes an astrologer will, pepper it in a certain palatable way by saying, instead of your astrological chart says you're going to lose everything, they'll say, this is a great time to go deep into your spiritual life. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Okay. It sounds much more
Right.
palatable.
But it's helpful, right? It's appropriate.
Yeah, it's the most appropriate. It's the most appropriate. Our good karma, once again, our good karma can ruin our life. And and if you're going through a period of that destitution, thank you, Krishna. I'm going to go deeper. Don't
think
lean
about
into
it.
anxiety or fear. Thank you,
How-
Krishna. Go.
This line here, Prabhupada says, this is misery, but it gives me a laugh. I sit alone and laugh. And we do have to kind of look at the comical nature of our endeavors in this world. And when we see that they're foiled again and again and again, we laugh at it. We say, I get it now. I'm the fool in this
Whole thing
in
is
this skit.
temporary.
Right? And you know what this also kind of indicates, in a sense, an important idea, particularly within spiritual circles, because even within our spiritual circles, we still struggle with our material vision and way of seeing people. But sometimes we see someone going through it, and we might feel, oh, look at them, look at like they're getting it now, because they're not so advanced. Their material nature is punishing them real good, Yeah.
While we're on the line to the chopping block ourselves.
Sure, yeah, right.
They're like
Yeah.
2 steps ahead of us.
Or yeah, yes, that for sure. Or even that perhaps they're the one that's more fortunate. Perhaps they're the one that's receiving the special blessing.
Sure.
As a result, not of their mundane attachments, but as a result of their sincerity, that Krishna is saying, let me be particularly merciful to them.
Interesting. It's such a flipped way to look at it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Oh,
Gotta
they're
flip it
poor,
sometimes.
the poor things. You don't know. Could be going very, very deep in their spiritual life.
Yeah. All right, Rogan. I think that's it for
good.
today.
Good. Thank you,
you got, Mary?
Prahlad. Thank you, Prahlad Maharaj.
I got some good.
I wonder if he
takeaways
was
too.
called Prahlad Maharaj when he was a little kid.
Probably
Or if he
not.
was called Prince Prahlad.
La la la.
Lala Prahlada. Lala Prahlada.
All right. Money, position, and fame aren't real wealth.
Nope.
It's something. It's just not real.
The self-realized joyful sage makes you realize how poor we are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Throw out the touchstones and opt in for real success, divine connection.
Don't necessarily. You don't have to throw it out. Can you just keep it?
You
keep
gotta
it. You don't
throw
have to
it
use it
out.
all the time.
Put it in the closet.
Divine love is the greatest treasure.
Mhm.
We're trying to find happiness in the least significant things.
Cheap
Yeah.
things.
Cheap.
Mm. Can I create a bubble of joy and peace of mind during the hard times?
Mm-hmm.
We're Bubble of Joy. The song's called Hard Times.
We're bubble noth.
Be like bubble now. Having money and not having money have nothing to do with the real treasure.
Ooh, interesting.
All that's left is a list of names.
Oh, ouch.
With Krishna, there's beauty and destitution.
There's
What do you
beauty
call
in
it?
destitution.
Beautiful destitution.
Beautiful Destitution. That's a good name for like an emo band.
That's a good name.
Yeah, Beautiful Destitution from Oakland.
Say thank you, Krishna, and have a laugh.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Krishna.
Krishna. And then have a cry.
And then cry a little.
And
And
there's no nectar in doom scrolling.
There's no nectar there.
there.
Nothing there. Oh, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us. And thanks for everybody showing up in the morning on Zoom. It's fun to see these smiling faces every day. You want to join us live on Zoom? Do it. Email Mayor at wisdomofthesage108@gmail.com. If you're new to our podcast and come here via Rich Roll, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. We do this practically speaking every day. Some people want to go back and listen from day one. You can do that. Or you can just, it's like a banana. Wherever you bite it, it's good. Look at that analogy. You jump in wherever you want to. You can jump in daily. You can jump in at the beginning. Whatever you,
Peel the banana.
just got to peel the banana. That's important. Also, if you like what we're doing, this is community-supported podcast. So you go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages, and you can opt in to give us whatever you want a month, and it really helps us keep this little mission going, Bhagavatam mission going. And that is all. That is all. And we'll hopefully we'll see Memorial Day weekend at the Wisdom of the Sages retreat, or that first weekend of June for New York Rath Yatra. We're gonna have a whole June 8th. We're gonna have a whole Wisdom of the Sages table. And if we don't see you there, we'll see you the next day. We're going to Italy with our Wisdom of the Sages retreat, our 4th annual. Pretty exciting.
Tuscany.
Oh, in the meantime, I think it's time to have a very beautiful, magical day. And you got to choose it. You got to choose. I'm going to put some time in my day today. Maybe this was it, actually. Maybe this was the time. But put a little extra time in for Krishna today and see the return on investment. Put a little time for Krishna, see how that grows with compound transcendental interest.